welcome to Evelo. I'm Jeremy, this is Amanda. Today we're going to talk to you about small space gardening and what we think you absolutely must have inside of it. So what does small space mean? We really mean basically anywhere in your yard, your balcony, like less than 100 square feet, like 2 or 3 raised beds, down to the size of a few pots on the windowsill. So it's really kind of any place where you can grow just a little bit of something. So Amanda, you want to tell about what we have in store today?
Yeah, so we are very, very excited for fall gardening. It's actually my favorite season. I know everyone thinks tomatoes, which I do love, but fall gardening is my favorite. But what we recommend you grow? What are the things we can't live without? So with a small space, we always recommend starting with the classic staple herbs. So that would be specifically thyme, oregano, chives, and parsley. And I know that seems like a lot of stuff for a small space, but trust me, they all work together. They're friends. When it comes to these classic herbs, when I say something like thyme, we actually specifically recommend, this is French thyme. This is what is typically used by chefs, actually, because it has a more potent flavor than most of the traditional thymes that you'll find. It's really easy to find this in most nurseries. Again, this is French thyme that we recommend. And then when it comes to something like a parsley, there is curly parsley and there's flat leaf parsley. Really, it's up to you. It's whatever your preference is. Traditionally nowadays, it's most common to find the flat leaf varietal when you are at a grocery store or when you're even at a nursery. So flat leaf would probably be the one I'd recommend. It's probably the one you're most used to and comfortable with. But again, it's completely at your discretion.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorites for the season is actually one that a lot of people I think gets somewhat wrong, is cilantro. So something that you think of like summer, you think of salsa, tomatoes and peppers, but it actually it's very sensitive to heat. So growing it now is amazing. You're going to have like a great cilantro plant, and you're going to be able to go out and clip just a few sprigs, put it in your tacos, put it on top of whatever you're cooking. Literally a game changer in the world of gardening.
Absolutely. Another one actually I think that we both really love is Ruby Streaks. Ruby Streaks is a leafy green. Thank you, Jeremy. This is what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see that. So Ruby Streaks has a peppery flavor. It's similar to an arugula in the sense that it has that kind of a spicy flavor. But even if you don't like a lot of spice or anything too bitter, Ruby Streaks is a great way to go. It's also something that'll produce through the whole season. So you can keep clipping it back and it'll keep growing so that you don't have to worry about working out that plant. And also, it's a great alternative to your classic lettuce that you get from a grocery store, that you put it in your refrigerator and then it's going to look like the saddest thing ever in a few days. Whereas if you grow a little bit of this yourself, you can consistently have something fresh to add to your salad or to a sandwich or even a soup.
Yeah, it's actually, so the technical term for that is cut and come again, which is always something fun. If you look at gardening terms, there's usually not a glossary, so it's always fun to see that everything relates. And it does have just an awesome peppery flavor. It just tastes, who thought lettuce could have personality?
Don't tell lettuce that.
That's right.
Oh God, that's a dad joke, isn't it? Also, one thing, I can go on and on about this. One other thing I really love about Ruby Streaks is the fact that it has a really vibrant color. So it's a mix between purple and green, which means that when you are adding it to your cuisine, to your food, or even to your garden, it's going to add a little more personality. It's going to add a little splash of color. Whereas when it comes to a fall garden, sometimes it can look a little muted with a lot of greens and blue tones. And so this does perk up your garden a little bit, as well as perking up your cooking as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so speaking of perking up your cooking, the last one that we want to recommend for you, we're going to keep this really a tight bunch, our absolute must-haves. We spent quite a while actually narrowing down the list to get you just the absolute must-haves. But our favorite for this season is leeks. And they are awesome, and you've seen them, and they're fantastic. One of the things we talk about a lot is how much different something tastes when you've grown it fresh in your garden to something you could buy somewhere else. And leeks are it's phenomenally different. It's an amazing flavor, but they're also super pretty in your garden. To your point about Ruby Streaks, they're really fun to watch them grow. So at all stages, they're actually really interesting looking, which is fun because it's one of the things you want to go check and see, how big did my leek grow today? So yeah, and like it's also one fun thing because you can actually make a dish without needing a lot of them. Like one leek is actually a substantial amount, and you're going to get that benefit. Like if you have leeks and roasted chicken, to use kind of the Parisian cafe classic, it's amazing, and it doesn't take like 50 leeks. You can do it with 1 or 2 leeks, so it's really kind of a big bang for your buck.
Yeah, leeks are really wonderful. They also are great for your garden. So leeks are in the allium family, which is the onion family. And so having a leek in your garden will actually help to deter some of the pests that you may see normally. So it's definitely your garden's friend. It's a gardener's friend, for instance. So definitely would recommend leeks for sure. But gardening can be intimidating. And so what we've done is we put together not only our favorites when it comes to cooking, but also what's really fun about these plants is that they're low maintenance, which means that during the wet, rainy, cold season, even snowy season, really don't have to worry as much about these particular plants. You can be rest assured that most of them, if not all of them actually, are pretty pest tolerant and resistant. Pests don't tend to gravitate towards these plants, which means that you're not wasting as much time outside picking things off. And you can actually just kind of sit back and enjoy your garden. And then also, to Jeremy's point earlier, you can grow all of this in a very small amount of space. So we can actually grow these 6 plants in about 2 square feet. So it's very efficient. So if you are in an urban setting, you're living in a city, and all you have is a little patio, a little tiny, New York apartment, these plants will be your friends, and they'll continue growing throughout the whole season. So check us out. We're at avelo.com for additional videos and information about gardening and what we're growing this season and future seasons. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
All right. See you soon.